This is news. We're about to start a live feed from the Collin County Courthouse. I'm Abe Bonowitz, and this is Charles Keith with me. With Death Penalty Action, we're going to be going live uh, from the Collin County Courthouse, where Sister Helen Prejean is talking to the media right now, and there's supposed to be a rally, and they were going to be doing a petition delivery, and maybe they still will. But the news that we've just learned is that there is a stay granted. Haven't seen any details about this. Just my phone just started buzzing about it, which is super exciting because it was just under a year ago, last April, that Charles and I and others were down in. Actually, I wasn't even there. Charles and the rest of our crew were down there in McKinney. Doing exactly this, trying to raise awareness and lifting up the voice of Sylvia Cantu, Ivan's mother, and the Cousins by Blood podcast, and all of that. And you can learn more, and we'll be updating and developing as we go with uh, on the petition page at bit.ly/Ivan Cantu with a capital I and a capital C, just like it is down there under Charles. So that's what's happening right now, and we're just standing by. Charles, what are you thinking?
Man, this is amazing, Abe. Especially coming up out of Texas to even for them to spare a life, it's just unbelievable. I've been in those dark trenches myself. I've been exactly where Sylvia's been. My brother's been exactly where Ivan's been. So, my heart was there. I'm praying, I'm fingers are crossed. I mean, everything that you could possibly think of. And we've done that for all, just about everybody that we've tried to help. But for Texas to come behind and to give this stay, this is almost historic. This is one of those times where I think maybe Texas is starting to hear some of the stuff that we're saying. Maybe they're starting to pay attention to this. Maybe they see they don't have to be in such a hurry to take a life. I mean, there's a lot of other things to consider. So, we don't have to be in that rush. In this case right here, it shows that there's a doubt, and that's something that we've always said in our law, and we stood on that word doubt. Where there's doubt, he should be out. And
I like that.
we've become such a bloodthirsty country and a time of killing that we've thrown that phrase away. Now it's prove your innocence. And I don't remember growing up with that phrase, prove you're innocent. They said where there's doubt, you should be out.
That's right. Well, Charles, you've been in this place. Your brother was 13 days from being executed, and there was a stay. What was it like? Well, you got a commutation at that point. I don't know if there were any previous dates. I should know this if you had previous dates and a
No.
possible execution, but just the relief. You were talking a few minutes ago before we went live about what Sylvia Cantu, Ivan's mother, must be thinking. So, um,
Well, I know she'll get some good sleep tonight. Love you, Sylvia. Love the Cantu family, but you're going to get some good sleep tonight. Standing there beside you, I felt powerful. I could feel your presence standing there representing your family. Uh, it's just amazing stuff to the extent that families will come out and fight these days, even if it's your own mother. We've seen sisters come out and fight. We've seen the children come out and fight. I mean, these are families. So, states, you're going to have to pay attention now. Here come the families. We're speaking out and we're bringing our family, we're bringing friends, and we're bringing the truth to you. So, this is all historical stuff, Abe.
It is. It is. So for people that are just joining us, we are watching um, and waiting for Shavas Watson to join us live from the Collin County Courthouse, and we'll be bringing you what's happening from from the ground, from where it's happening. Sister Helen Prejean is talking to the media right now, and hopefully they're going to do an actual press conference and rally that should be starting up in about 15 minutes. So but we're here. We're just waiting for Shavaz to join us, and then we'll bring him in and see what see what's happening um, on the ground there in in McKinney. So um, hopefully he's got a signal and we're all good. So we're just waiting, and we're super excited. We've been working on this case for a couple of years now, and others have been working on this case for a very long time. And we don't know. We can't say for sure if Ivan is innocent. What we can say is that there's too much doubt to execute him. And the ask has been all along, let's have the evidence heard. Let's have, and that's what the petitioning has been to. It's too late for the courts. Well, we'll see who's granted the stay, right? But it's been too late for the courts, and it's been, everything's been procedurally barred. Last year, the parole board denied clemency. I'm told the governor is already telling people this year, just in the last couple of weeks, that they're not going to grant clemency. So the petitioning has been to the county prosecutor in Collin County, asking that the Conviction Integrity Unit review the case. And that's what we're waiting for. So
there's a new power around, Abe. It's called family power.
I didn't know. It's just getting some energy here.
Getting some people to moving. Not all families love one another. You got family love. You got to show, you got to show the devil. You got to show that evil that there's family love. They say love conquers all. Some of these families, this is where we got to go. It doesn't cost money to love. And this is proof when you have to come out and fight for your loved one, and you have to put your family on the line, and then, all the things that you've gone through over the years. And you come down to a point like this. See, when you come down to this particular point, this is frightening. This is frightening.
And it is. Yeah. And how do people even sleep like this, So for those of you that are just joining us, we're waiting to hook up the feed with the folks that are at Collin County Courthouse, where there's a press conference that's supposed to start at 11. We'll see what happens with that. There's breaking news. The breaking news is that Ivan Cantu has a stay. I've been looking, just check it over here again to see if there's anything. Let's see here.
Yes.
Nobody has really posted anything substantive in terms of the news yet. This is that new. We just heard it straight from the courthouse, where there's folks on the ground, and we're just waiting for them to join us. So we're going to see what happens. Let's see if I can find. There we are. Here's Shabazz. Okay. Hey, can you hear me?
Hey. I can hear you. I am changing my audio settings.
All right, turn your camera sideways, please.
Yeah, I will.
If you can.
Trying to.
There you go.
Trying to get the audio changed.
What's up, my brother?
So this is Shabazz Watson, who's on the ground for death penalty action there at the Collin County Courthouse. What's happening down there, brother?
We have just received fantastic news. Fantastic news.
What more can you tell us about it? And what's going on there?
Many of us traveled from far and wide, far and near. I'll turn my camera and show you the community members that have come out. Members of the clergy, members of the press, members of the prison show, members of the abolitionist movement. One of the fourth juror on Ivan's case.
Shabazz, turn your camera if you can, so we can see what's going on.
And as soon as we all got here, we got the fantastic news from Sister Helen. Let me turn my camera and show you all.
No affiliation. So you're not.
There we go.
We're gonna stay on land.
Look at John. Look at John. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Great news today, man. Great news. Nobody yet.
Johnny loves you.
Chef has left me back, man. I've been waiting for a hug, man, especially in the name of justice like this, you know.
Hey, Shabazz, are you able to hear me?
As well.
How you been?
I've been all right. I'm on live with Abe.
Shabazz, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. I just wanted to make sure you knew we have.
Sorry, was talking to John.
That's all right. That's all right. We got you. You had some fingers in front of the lens for a second.
I know.
This is super exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, so you got your fingers in front of the camera there right now. There you go. All right, for those who are just joining us, we're in my colleague Charles Keith is with me. It's Abe Bonowitz with Death Penalty Action, and Shabazz Watson is down there at the Collin County Courthouse in McKinney, Texas. We're waiting for Sister Helen to start up with the press conference as we are going to learn more details about the stay for Ivan Cantu, who was scheduled to be executed next Wednesday night in Texas with too much doubt about his guilt.
Too much doubt. Too many unanswered questions.
Go ahead, Shabazz. What do you got?
And of course, I'll make it look like
This is such fantastic news. This is what we do it for. This is what we do it for.
Yeah.
Well, Shabazz, you have been doing this for a long time from all over Texas. Tell us a little bit about how you come to be there today.
I can send it to Ivan.
Well, I'll say today came to fruition after years and years in the abolitionist movement. Sacrificing time, sacrificing even my own freedom, embracing the uncomfortableness of talking to somebody inside and learning the intricacies of their case or their appeals, so on and so forth. It's been years of speaking with different men and women that are on death row. Yeah.
Do me a favor and focus on one of our signs there, one of the red signs.
Yeah, for sure.
Get tight on that for a second.
For sure.
Just ask him to hold up the sign for you. There you go. There's John.
What if we got it wrong?
All right. There we go.
Is it backwards, Abe, or does it reflect the right way?
It's looking backwards here. Let me look at the live stream.
Let me change it.
No, it looks right, brother. It looks right. It's fine. It's just fine.
Okay. What if we got it wrong, right? What if we got it wrong? And that was the whole thing about Ivan's case. What if we got it wrong? After all this time, I think we knew that we got it wrong. I wonder if Greg Abbott is sitting at the Capitol today saying, hey, we got it wrong. I wonder if Ken Paxton is doing the same. Tyler, what's the message on that shirt? So for everybody,
Don't kill for me.
don't kill for me. Don't kill for me. We're here with members of Death Penalty Action that were in DC for the vigil last summer, where we all became a family. Where we amplified the name of Ivan Cantu and Anibal Canales and Jedediah Murphy and Rodney Reed and Kevin Keith and
Hey, Shavas, give me another shot at the here we are. Another shot of the sign here for a moment. There we go. Shavas, give me another shot of the sign.
what if we got it wrong?
Close up on the sign.
There's a fair trial.
Absolutely. A fair trial. This is Ivan when he was younger, 12 years old. Give our brother his life back. What if we got it wrong? Somebody knows something. This is Ivan's second stay, showing that God works. To all of our listeners, I want to ask you, are you willing to be the innocent person executed? Are you willing to be the innocent person executed? I bet you're not. Guess what? Ivan wasn't either. And that's power. That's power. We want to send all of our love and our peace to our brothers on Pulaski and our sisters in Mountain View. On days like today, there's hope for all of us. There's hope for all of us here in Collin County. May it be felt in Harris County. I'm working with a judge in Travis County who's weighing the heavy weight of, she's weighing the heavy decision of sending somebody to prison for life. But yesterday in court, she said, but Chevis, every time you speak here in this courtroom as the court vendor, it makes me reconsider. So I want us to know that this doesn't have to stay in Collin County. Please share this video. Please share the Cousins by Blood podcast. And ask your neighbors and ask your friends, are you willing to be the innocent person executed? After you get 100 no's, I want you to join the abolitionist movement. I want you to go to deathpenaltyaction.org and sign all of our petitions. This is not simply for men. This is not simply for women. These are for persons. Persons. This is not a bipartisan system. We do not care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent voter. We don't care if you're registered to vote. We want your voice. We want your hands in the abolitionist movement. We need the message to be spread far and wide. Are you willing to be the next innocent person executed? Are you willing to stay silent and not speak up and share what you know about the innocent claim of someone, the mitigating circumstances of someone? Again, are you willing to be the innocent person executed? We've lost friends. Some of us have lost pen pals. Some of us have prayed over and over again that a past juror would come back and say, hey, there's way too much doubt here. And so whenever we're together in the abolitionist space, I know we always give ode and honor to the Most High God, no matter your religious belief, because this kind of justice doesn't come if God isn't in the middle of it. Proud to be here with an abolitionist family that took me in back in July as I drove to Starving for Justice vigil in DC. And folks gave me hugs and kisses and shared space with me and welcomed me into the abolitionist movement with them. And so I drove all the way from Houston to simply amplify the same shared vision. Are you willing to be the innocent person executed? Stop executions. We've had far too many exonerations. We have far too many people innocently locked up right now. We have so many people that did not get a fair trial. And that's all we're asking for with Ivan, is a fair new trial here in Collin County. We know somebody in here wants to uphold the U.S. Constitution. We know that somebody in here has taken an oath to the U.S. Constitution. We know somebody knows that Ivan's 8th Amendment has been denied. His 6th Amendment has been denied. And if the 6th and the 8th are denied, I guarantee you the 4th and the 5th will also deny it. Again, are you willing to be the innocent person executed?
That's right.
Inviting everybody to watch. Go to YouTube, Hulu, Google it, the Cousins by Blood podcast. And I want you to simply press play. Don't talk. Don't take any text messages or calls. Just listen to the plight of an innocent man who for years did not have a voice. Did not have a voice. And God has shown up. The last 2 times we were close and he was able to get a stay. I mean, we all drove from all over Texas just to get here to Collin County. And as soon as we get here, Sister Helen Prejean has the great news. I'd say God is definitely in the space.
Hey, Shabbat, are you able to get closer to wherever Sister Helen is giving an interview, or catch up on maybe Matt,
For sure. Thank you.
see what's going on? Looks like they're all still getting set up. So,
Yeah, still getting set up.
all right, so this is Abe Bonowitz here coming at you from Columbus, Ohio. Shavas Watson is down on the ground at Collin County Courthouse in McKinney, Texas, where we've just learned that Ivan Cantu, who was scheduled to be executed in just under 6 days, 6 days from this evening, and now he's got a stay. So hopefully we're going to hear more details about what that stay is, but they're going to have to look at the evidence that Ivan has been saying all along, cast doubt. He says he's innocent. I don't know if he's innocent, but I know that the evidence says there's a lot of questions that have to be answered before we can execute a person. And it's for a court of law to look at and to determine. So we're going to see what happens. You know, so Shavas, thanks for being down there. What else? Tell us who else down there that you know?
No need to thank me. I'm showing up wherever DPA is. Want to thank Julie and Tyler Rinker for being here today, as well as Melissa and John Flaherty, our SMU friends. It's been months. It's been months. But you know, I'm here with family. I'm here with family that never forgets. And then we've got baby Romero here. We got baby Romero here, letting all the babies know that.
Oh, it's the new abolition.
What if we got it wrong?
I knew it's abolitionist.
I knew it's abolitionist.
Yeah.
But also here with others that we know.
Look at all that media.
Look at all that media. Also here with our friends out of Houston, Miss Danny Allen, Huntsville, Miss Gloria Rubach, Miss Joy. These are my counterparts whenever we're at Huntsville, and it's only 5 of us.
Yep, the Crummins.
The angels. the angels. And I'll say I think we have a shared vision, and we're super glad we don't have to go to Huntsville next week. Oh my goodness. Amen to that. I sure will. Lot of media.
You know what?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Move On here. We've got members of the clergy here. Miss Patricia here with the Stop Executions Now shirt. Stop Executions when? Now. Before lunch. Now.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's right. Well, it looks
Death
like they're
penalty
not
action is
coming up.
definitely in the building. Death penalty action is definitely here in the building. What if we got it wrong? That's such an important thing to consider, you know? I'm wrongfully convicted as well, and I wish I could go back to that judge and that prosecutor and say that. What if we got it wrong when you violated my Sixth Amendment, when you violated my First Amendment? Can we simply say, what if we got it wrong? You know? And I think that's what we all keep saying here with Ivan. There's way too much doubt, unanswered questions. Let's get a fair new trial here in the modern age and see if his constitutional rights will be upheld. See if there'll be any malfeasance on behalf of the prosecutor and more. Give our guy a fair trial. Because again, what if we got it wrong? Stop executions. Stop executions.
All right.
Miss Danny always in the building, always showing up. Our death row angel.
Haven't missed an execution since 2011.
Oh wow.
Protesting. We need more people protesting.
Yeah. Sending out love to Miss Linda out there in Southwest Houston.
It's not true. It's not true. He doesn't have to stay. So we're going to report as if this is going on as planned. Okay.
Wow.
I think it was a rumor and it was a mistake.
Oh,
Mistaken
man.
identity. Okay.
Oh man. We just got an update.
What's the update?
Did you hear that? Yeah. Okay.
That it may have just been a rumor that Ivan got to stay.
Oh, no. And Helen said that?
We just have to carry on before the press conference. But they confused it with a man who got to stay at home. But we're in the Whitewater Rapid.
Shavas, if you can move a little closer in, that'd be great. That looks like Helen is talking to Sylvia Cantu.
Thank you.
And Jesus is with you just as smart as he was. Couldn't agree with him. And he activates us. A God of life is in us. We do it. Okay. Okay, good. It's great to meet you in person. Yeah, met her. Yeah, thanks. Oh, okay, we gotta disappear. Tomorrow. You will? Okay, good. Let's go do it.
Hey, Lord. I'm Matt Duff.
Oh, hi. It's good to meet you in person.
Great people, they've been following and they do really good work. Look at this thing.
And so, yeah, the unfortunate news, there was a mistake.
Oh, jeez.
There was a mistaken identity of a guy in, I think, another jurisdiction.
That's shattering.
Shattering.
Shattering. You know, I just want to say that is shattering. We still have a lot of work to do. We're still going to be delivering these petitions today. We're going to hear more from Sister Helen in a moment. But what happened about half an hour ago is, you know, folks.
We got Fox News here, Fox 4 in Dallas.
Folks pulled up on
Move on out here.
Day, and it was sadly.
The DA must demand a fair trial for Ivan Cantu.
It was a pleasure to interview.
So much media here. We've got over 100,000 signatures for Ivan.
Nothing but, oh,
I mean, would anybody disagree that that should provoke a new trial? I mean, 100,000 signatures.
Sister Helen. You got
Tough news, but these folks didn't come out here to quit. These folks are not wearing the Cousins by Blood t-shirts to give in just because a little bad news comes on a Thursday. Folks have held hope for this entire time. And so hope will remain.
Soundcheck? Some groups have started putting it out on social media. Please keep each other.
Yeah.
Okay,
For sure.
You're here today because the criminal justice system has failed Ivan Cantu. You're here today to ask Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis to request that he delay Ivan's execution. Over 100,000 people have demanded this of the district attorney. Over 100,000 people, including thousands of Texans, have demanded, in light of new evidence, that Ivan get a shot at a fair trial. I'm here today with advocates, including Sister Helen Prejean, including folks from Ivan's family, including local Texas faith leaders, who are here to say Ivan deserves his fair day in court. Ivan is set to be executed February 28th, just days from now. He's counting on us, the public, to take action. Go to moveon.org/save Ivan to take action. Again, that's moveon.org/save Ivan Cantu. I'm now going to hand it over to Sister Helen Prejean, leading at the source of this campaign, this Ivan's spiritual counsel, who's been instrumental.
I got involved in Ivan's case because he sent me a letter and he asked me to be with him if Texas executes him on Sunday. Would you hold my hand and would you pray with me during the execution? It's a letter that when I get it, I know I have to say yes. How can I not say yes to this man who's asking me to be with him? But I also knew in saying yes that there's no way that I would acquiesce or be complicit in the death of Ivan Cantu and simply pray him into eternity. This is not the God of life that I believe in. So I knew in the getting of the letter and saying yes to Ivan that I must do everything I know to do to resist this death, to get the word out of truth to the people, so that the people can rise up and the people can say to the public officials, do you have to execute this guy on the 28th of February? Look at all the new evidence coming in, that the key witnesses lied, that the lead investigator did not speak the truth at trial when he held up a Rolex watch and said that Ivan had stolen it from the victim. That was murder. And 3 jurors, the 4-person is here today, Mr. Calhoun, who said they had trouble, that they as the fact finders in the trial were not given the truth at trial. When you have the 2 key witnesses for the state, Amy Betcher and Jeff Betcher, Amy's testimony has been completely discredited. And Jeff, her brother, waited until she died, and he came out in 2022 and said, I lied. Everything I said at trial, and the court, in making the decision, relied heavily on these 2 witnesses. But here is the challenge of our criminal justice system, and Ivan is in the throes of this challenge. How do you get a court to hear this new evidence that's only coming forth now through vigorous investigation by people like Matt Duff, who started a podcast and started digging into it and found out all the stuff. And what they summarily do usually is they bat it down, say you're filing too late, you're abusing the writ of habeas corpus, the courts need finality here. This is just a defense tactic trying to keep justice from happening, and they don't give you a hearing. So right now, as of now, no court has heard all this new evidence that investigation has shown. One of the things you need for justice, and that the jurors had a right to hear, if Ivan Cantu didn't kill his cousin, James Mosqueda, who was the actual killer? You always need an alternative narrative to the crime. And they didn't have that because it's taken them this long to dig up the actual man who they believe is the actual killer of James Mosqueda. Somebody who did the drug deals with James Mosqueda and who appeared at Ivan's door, shot past his ear because he said James owed $250,000 and he was mad at James. And just even the next night, this same person kicked in somebody's door because it was all part of the drug dealings that was going on. But Ivan did not kill his cousin. But now we have someone that we've been able to pin down, Matt Duff, and I want to hold him up because here's a citizen who cares about truth, who started a podcast, starts looking into the case of Ivan Cantu. And it's because of Matt's work that we have the information. How do we get it into a court? And how do we appeal to the DA's office of Collin County? You never get a death sentence unless a DA purposely seeks death. And so they are bound by justice to tell the truth at trial. They're bound by justice to turn over to defense any exculpatory evidence which might point to the possible innocence of the defendant. That did not happen in Ivan's trial. And so we're calling for justice. We're a human system. We have human agents. And we make mistakes. All we're asking for, will the DAs that have one of the few conviction integrity units in the country is here in Collin County. Conviction integrity. It means when you have somebody convicted and sentenced to death, you gotta be absolutely sure, no questions, that the conviction has integrity. And we have a lot of questions about the integrity of this conviction. So what we're asking the DAs to do, ask for withdrawal of the execution date, just allow time for an evidentiary hearing to look at this new evidence in no court is heard. That's our cry for today, and we will continue to pursue this for Ivan. Even if you avoid the death penalty, and I know there may be a number of people in Texas who in good faith are for the death penalty for terrible crimes, everybody believes in fairness. You ought to be able to get a fair trial. Ivan never got a fair trial. So we, the citizens, stand up and are calling for him to delay the execution long enough that we can look at the new evidence and he can get a fair trial. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we will hear from Ivan's attorney, Gina Bond. Okay. Hello? All the way up. Yelled it out, Gina. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? All right. Well, Sister Prejean has told us, shared with y'all all of the new evidence why not its case. All I can really add to that is that we have pleas pending in multiple courts right now, and I'm hopeful that a court will do the right thing and give Ivan his day in court. That's what we haven't had.
We've had courts that are willing to apply procedural rules to avoid looking at these claims on the merits, looking at the new evidence on the merits. So that's that we have this pending, and we are continuing to work on Ivan's case. Thank you all for being here. I know that Ivan would be so happy to see all of y'all here today supporting. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jeffrey Calhoun. Jeffrey was the jury foreman in Ivan's 2001 original case.
Thank you. I think this is a good example of your country.
You got to speak up.
How's that? I think this is a good example of I'm kind of pointing out the sister officers. I'm not looking for
Jeff, it's hard to hear you. You got to project.
Okay, I'm not here for any political agenda. And I'm not here to protest the country. I had to sign a document that said that I would support that country. And over the period of time that I was in for 5 minutes, when we tried Ivan Cantu. The evidence was compelling. There was a woman in favor of the prosecutors, but that was not our business. Our business was there to try people as human beings. They were practicing things that nobody would approve of. You got to shake the can and be compassionate from the point of view, from the law point of view. And that's what we're doing. Medical proof. We did good jobs. We found them guilty. The two step tested, and they put him in the way in the direction of prosecution. I walked away from it. I don't know if anybody here has ever done that, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy to sign a document that says to the jury, this man instead to be executed. But it's a pretty good idea. They're ready to apply. If you miss that, this way we're not a couple lawyers for all students when you clean things like this. And I feel about it, but when I learned that it was clear, it's clear, and I think it is clear, the program is committed to the defense of at least one of the witnesses having the truth to sway me and my fellow jurors to take the verdict in one direction. And maybe it would have gone one direction anyway, but I'd like to find out. So my position with this is, and two, I don't know if I've ever done this with the county of the state here in Idaho, but take that document that I gave you with my signature on it and put it away for a while, shake the thing out, and let's see it.
Thank you. Thank you for your courage.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Next, we have Sylvia Cantu, Ivan's mother.
Dr. Corey. And thank you everyone for coming. I want to thank Sister Helen, Billy Vaughn, Doc Ward, also Matt Duff, PI. All of those that believe in my son's wrongful conviction. That's Mr. Sheen. everyone that Sister Helen reached out to. And we were able to get emails and letters sent to the DA's office for more than 4,000 letters. There is also over 108,000 signed petitions. And that can't be ignored. I believe that the only reason that things are being dragged out in this courtroom, this courthouse, is they're running out the clock on an innocent man. Do not want to hear his newly discovered evidence in an evidentiary hearing. And I call on Governor Abbott, Greg Willis, to turn this around. It needs to be turned around now. And the time of just sweeping things under the rug are over. Not only for this wrongful conviction, but any of those that are in the past and anything that's coming in the future. That this should not happen to anyone. My son should have never been locked up. He's now served 23 years in a metal box. And has fallen on deaf ears with this courthouse. I'm here to speak up for him. He deserves to have a fair trial. His defense was no defense whatsoever. There were no experts whatsoever. No PI, no blood expert, no ballistics expert, no DNA. I don't understand how a judge can sit on the bench and not call a defense over and say, what are you doing? Why aren't you prepared? What are you doing here? And not chastising. There were 0 witnesses called on my son's behalf. The prosecution had the floor and my son was served up to the prosecution. That's unheard of. This is America. Everybody has a right to have a say-so in a court of law. And my son's voice was muzzled. I ask that his voice be heard with his attorney, Gina Bunn, who has fought feverishly for my son and still continues to do so. I want to thank everybody who has voiced their opinions with everything that you have sent to this courthouse. And I pray that this doesn't happen to another family. They have torn my family apart, my relatives and my family. There's no repair at this time. The damage has been done. And only in God's help will this be able to be restored one day. I hold nothing against the Mosquedas other than love. And I pray that they can forgive and move forward and accept the truth that has been uncovered. I just want to pray that from this day forward, there is no other wrongdoing in this courtroom. And I call and I speak that out into the universe. That not this courtroom or any other courtroom in this United States will ever treat another person that's arrested without their due process. Nothing else will prosper in this courtroom, in this courthouse. Just justice. And I thank Bill Worston for writing his paper in 2017, my wrongful conviction about my son, Ivan Cantu, and what he came from in Dallas County, and the experience he went through in the early 2000s with all of those inmates that were exonerated
by the Innocence Project. He was most helpful in bringing that about. And he got the assistant DA position here in Collin County. I call on him to do justice for Ivan, to speak his voice, and to step up and do the right thing. Greg Willis, I have something to say to you. Your days of covering up the wrongful and misconduct of your prosecution has come to an end. This will no longer go forward. God's hand is on this, and he's on my son. The most beautiful prayer I could ever quote is Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me beside quiet waters. And he does. He is with us. And I feel his presence every day. God bless you all for coming and backing my son's wrongful conviction. Now it's on to get a new trial and an evidentiary hearing. And I ask that you stand by us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Matt Duff, the creator of the Cousins by Blood podcast, which launched an immense public outcry for an investigation into Ivan's case.
Yeah, thank you for showing up today. My name is Matt Duff. I'm a private investigator, and I've been working on Ivan's case since about 2019. When I started the podcast, never thought it would get to this level. I thought maybe 10 episodes, but as the story continued to unravel, there's just more and more stories to tell. And I think that anybody that takes the time to listen to the podcast or listen to the 30-minute comprehensive video that's on YouTube, that within 30 minutes,
in front of the camera.
within 30 minutes, you can understand that this is a capital murder case that has so many problems, and it's hard to have that information in your head and be able to justify an execution. Some of the things that we've learned over the years, like Sister Helen had mentioned, the DNA in the case, the state's argument, and Amy Becher, the state's star witness, she said that Ivan came back with bloody jeans and socks, but the state can't find Ivan's DNA on the bloody jeans and socks. If that came out at trial, that's a game over right there. That's a game over. If you can't prove that this guy was wearing the bloody jeans and socks that you say he was wearing, well, then you've got nothing. Your whole story falls apart. The time of death, this murder was supposed to occur, way off. 2 forensic pathologists have signed declarations. This is all evidence that has been submitted. And one of the most disturbing things is the withholding of evidence. Even before the trial got started, there was evidence that discredited the state star witness, Amy Becher, and it also discredited Dallas Police Department. Dallas Police Department knew that was tying Ivan to the robbery had been returned to the family. They knew that. We've got the documentation that shows that. Another thing that happened, just to skip ahead a little bit, because there was a writ that was filed last year before Ivan's second scheduled execution. Those claims was the Brady violation, that evidence was withheld, and the fraudulent testimony. What happened with that was, after that was filed, Collin County had further evidence that laid out how the police knew that. but they didn't hand it over to Ivan's attorney until it's filed. So they continue to hold evidence back. And then when you look at the filing from last year, you've got 2 claims on there. A fraudulent testimony that was presented, which was material testimony. Both of those violations entitle to a new trial. But instead of allowing that information to be heard by the court, they say it's procedurally barred. They say, well, doesn't matter, God, it's procedurally barred, we can't hear it. You know, it's tough. It's tough, especially in the case when you have cards to play, but they refuse to let you play them. You know, but the evidence is out there. And the courts know the evidence is out there. Court of Criminal Appeals know that the evidence is out there, and Collin County knows the evidence is out there. But they just play this, game where they can kind of move the thing around. Well, we'd love to, but they say we can't, and then they're saying, oh, well, we don't authorize it. The evidence is out there. We know more evidence is coming to light, which was just filed in Ivan's latest writ. And that evidence shows that, if you kept up with the story, there was another individual that I've been looking for 4 years, ever since I started this case. I just found that individual about a week ago. That individual proves that Ivan had been telling that side of the story all along. And now we know who the guy is. And that guy is actually tied to the victim. We made that connection. So everything, again, lines up that corroborates Ivan's side of the story. But there's that testified the other way, that said Ivan did it. And both of those 2 witnesses, their testimony's been disproven. The brother testified that Ivan was planning the murder, that Ivan showed him the murder weapon, that Ivan showed him the bullets, and then after the murder, that Ivan bragged about it over the phone. That's how serious his testimony was. But now Collin County will say, well, that testimony wouldn't have affected anything anyway. The jurors wouldn't have found that compelling. Well, the jury foreman drove over 3 hours to get here today. The jury foreman finds that information compelling. And Jeff recanted his whole testimony. Not only did we prove he proved he lied. He came forward and said, I made it all up. Made it all up. And they know that. He called them to tell them that. So they have all this information, and it's just sad. It is sad that we are out here today with 6 days left? Execution. It's sad that there's going to be all this information out there. But the execution is still scheduled. That's sad, but it is invigorating. Because last time, when Ivan was facing the same kind of deal, his execution day, there weren't that many cameras out here. There weren't that many people out there. But now there are. Now there are a lot more cameras, and now there are a lot more people. Because people are catching on, and people know. The more people that know about this and know about the injustice behind this.
Stay of execution. Execution.
Stay of execution.
Stay of execution. They know this is wrong. They know this is wrong. Give the man one fair day. We're not even asking for a new trial. We're asking for a hearing to be able to assess this information. Performance. That's all we're asking. But as of right now, he's scheduled to be executed 6 days. And anyone paying attention knows that that is not justice.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Next, we have Reverend Amy Moore, of the North Park Presbyterian Church.
Hey, Shavaz, see if you can get a sign or something to get yourself in the shade so your camera doesn't overheat.
We are here this morning about justice. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly Yet for thousands of years, institutions that have refused to walk humbly and do justice have been putting innocent people to death. This is a tragedy against the lives affected, and it is without a doubt an abuse of the system. And yet, on February 28, a system, an institution that refuses to humble itself and do justice, is planning to kill a man whose guilt has reasonable doubt. Ivan Cantu has maintained his innocence for over 20 years that he's been on death row. It's easy, I think, when we're on the outside to say, oh, well, the system did its business. It's easy because we want to say, doesn't everybody claim to be innocent? It's easy to not care until it touches your loved one or yourself. Would you want a fair trial? Evidence, as has been discussed, evidence has revealed the stark possibility that Mr. Cantu did not receive a fair trial. Convicted in 2001, his case has come under scrutiny of the public eye for the revelation of withheld evidence, witnesses that have recanted their testimony, and a witness that falsely testified with the knowledge of detectives. Yet, the system is determined to proceed with his death. What is the just thing to do? Justice begins when humanity with humility to withdraw the execution date for the state-sanctioned murder of Ivan Cantu, so an inquiry into new evidence can be opened. With humility and justice, misconduct of the system that tried him must be uncovered. Since 1973, 196 people have been exonerated from death row because of their innocence. 16 of those innocents are from Texas. The United States and its institutions take pride in calling themselves faithful. And as a faith leader of the Christian tradition and a follower of Jesus Christ and his values, it is without a doubt a sin against God and neighbor to bear false witness. As a citizen, I know perjury is a violation of Texas law. How much more dreadful it is when that perjury puts a life at stake. What if this life was yours or that of a loved one? What justice would you seek? The same justice is commanded to be pursued of others and for others. As the value of many faith traditions states, do unto others as you would have done to you. Any faithful system should not be afraid to examine itself for righteousness in its procedures. Evidence would point to the fact that Mr. Cantu has not received a fair trial, as is his constitutional right, and as is his right as our neighbor. What does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. District Attorney Greg Willis, we are calling on you to be humble and do what is just. Ivan Cantu's execution must be delayed in order to examine the system that tried and convicted him by an unfair trial and in response to mounting evidence of reasonable doubt. It is his constitutional right and his right as our neighbor. And it is the right thing to do for our country and state that claims itself to be faithful. Live into the integrity of the office that the district attorney deserves, Greg Willis. Do justice and start by delaying Ivan Cantu's execution date. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank all the speakers so far who have spoken, and I know there are a few media outlets who are on deadline, and so we're going to take a small break in the program to have questions asked about our speakers so far, if there are any from local or national media outlets. If you do have a question, please raise your hand, identify your outlet, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm looking for national and international and local media outlets. All right, we don't have any questions. So that's good. And right now, it is time to get the beginning of the program. And I think we'll our next speaker is Mara Richards-Finn. She's a spiritual leader in talented organizations. So glad to have her. And just a second. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Today. My name is Mara Richards-Finn. I'm a candidate for ordination as a deacon in the United Methodist Church, and today I'm here representing the interfaith organization Faith Commons. As a religious organization that seeks to amplify the voices of various and diverse faith communities, the matter of seeking justice in our legal system is important to us. While the matter of capital punishment is debated in all our faith traditions, the desire to see the justice system work appropriately to make sure that no innocent person is wrongly sentenced, especially when the sentence involves the taking of human life, is undebated. We understand that the law allows for the severest penalty to be paid by those guilty of committing capital murder. But when the legal system fails to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the accused is thus guilty, carrying out such a sentence leaves no room for correction of the wrongful conviction. Utmost care must be taken to ensure that the sentence is just. In the case of Ivan Cantu, who is scheduled to be executed by the state of Texas on February 28th, recent evidence that could potentially reverse his conviction has been unearthed. Like all Americans, Cantu and his family deserve due process and diligence, a fair trial, and representation. After serving more than 20 years for the alleged crime, he was sentenced to two, as you know, of Cantu's original jurors, after hearing new details of his innocence claims, have said they no longer support his execution. New details about the possibility of false testimony at the trial and the dubious tying of evidence discovered in Mr. Cantu's trash while he was out of state provide ample questions about the reliability of the verdict. The state is a moral agent acting on behalf of its citizens, and it has an obligation to do justice, and just as importantly, to undo injustice. There is sufficient evidence to suggest that an injustice may have been done in this particular case. Until all the evidence may be re-examined through the appeals process, Mr. Cantu's execution should be stayed. Our judicial system is rooted in principles that derive from our faith traditions. The sanctity of all human life applies equally to those whose lives are taken from them by violence, as well as to those who are accused of committing such crimes. Doing justice is sometimes an arduous task, but getting it right and righting the wrongs is worth the effort, lest we allow expediency to devalue the very principle of life's sanctity. We urge Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis and the Texas Criminal Court of Appeals to reopen the case and to re-examine the evidence before it is too late. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we are going to have Michael Frazier, who works on the Cousins by Blood podcast, come up and talk.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk into the mic. My name is Michael. I stalked Matt long enough for him to allow me to start helping him on Ivan's case whenever I started listening to the podcast. And since we have become like family, myself, Matt, Ivan, Sylvia, and you know, the others that I'm just now meeting that already feel like family. But I I just want to thank you all for being here on behalf of Ivan. Man, if he could see this, he would be beside himself. I do want to give a special shout out to Tammy Cantu, Ivan's late wife. If it weren't for you, none of us would be here today praying for another stay for Ivan. You are the one that started all of this and helped get Gina Bunn on board, who has been Ivan's steadfast attorney all of these years. So Danielle wants you to know, thank you for still moving mountains for Ivan. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. And now we welcome Amy Allen, who is a childhood friend and long time supporter.
Ross, if you can move back up, that'd be great.
We're the petitions are about to be delivered. So I was gonna
Petition delivery, do that.
yeah, that's what I stepped back for. That's why I'm right here by Sister Helen Prejean.
All right.
I know it's a little hard to hear.
No, I'm gonna text Julie.
You always had an idea. I've tried to live my life by the motto that we should love and value people. So today I wanted to show up to do just that. I wanted to love and value Ivan. I can't do it in life. I believe I believe in what Matt has uncovered. I believe in everyone who spoke here today. There's evidence that shows that he was wrong to be convicted. And we're talking about a human life who's going to be death in less than 6 days. His brother Ivan Willis did not find the grace in their heart to do the right thing. I really don't know much else to say except that I care and love for him, and I really hope that this will set an example for any of the other people who are innocently accused. I appreciate you allowing me to say, and I speak from the heart.
Thank you. So grateful to have Ivan's family and friends come out today to speak truth to power and share their story. Now we're going to welcome another longtime friend and former girlfriend of Ivan's, Tawny, to the stage. I'm going to share some words. Hey, Tawny. I'm sorry. Okay, great. Okay, well, maybe if Tawny needs a second to find out really working with bringing down people to follow friends and to support guidance.
Devos, maybe you can go over a little bit towards the stage just for, yeah, thank you.
I've been blessed to be Ivan's best friend for the over 39 years. Yes, some of you from the podcast might know me as the luckiest 12-year-old to be Ivan's first kiss, but what you don't know is that Ivan and I have shared countless memories together, from childhood adventures to navigating through the ups and downs of life as young adults. Through it all, our friendship has remained strong and unwavering. Ivan has always been there for me, offering support, laughter, and guidance whenever I needed it. I'm so grateful to have Ivan in my life, and I know that I'm a better person because of our friendship. He is kind, he is generous, and always willing to lend a helping hand to those in need. I'm constantly inspired by his positivity, his perseverance, and unwavering commitment to his loved ones. My mom used to tell me, Ivan's going to be the one you want to marry. He's so sweet, he's so intelligent, and sure enough, he still is. Throughout my steadfast history and belief of Ivan's innocence, it has truly been disheartening to hear about the positive. It's been heartening to hear about the positive impact that Ivan has had on those around him. Ivan, you are loved, and we all love you. As someone with the criminal justice background, I have a degree in criminal justice. I can't believe how incredibly disheartening it is to see the system that I once trusted potentially failing to provide proper due process and a fair trial for our best friend Ivan. The idea that someone you care about is facing the possibility of death without the fundamental principles of justice being upheld is indeed deeply troubling and even frightening. It is a stark reminder that the importance of accountability, transparency, and integrity in the legal system. Our voice and our advocacy for a fair treatment and due process for our dear friend Ivan are vital in ensuring that justice is served. It is essential to continue to fight for Ivan, the truth, the fairness, and the rights of all individuals, including our friend Ivan. With that being said, Greg Willis, I urge you to listen to your own personal heart and act with passion and empathy. It is with this short power to make a difference in Ivan's life. I advocate for you.
Knock you all up.
Stay tight, bro, if you can go in. Oh, there's Sylvia. That's Sylvia Cantu carrying the petitions. So everybody's going to go through the metal detectors and into the county courthouse. Shavas, did they wave you back or what's happening? So what's happening is the delegation has gone into the Collin County Courthouse. There's Matt Duff and Sylvia Cantu, and I'm not sure who the woman in the white pants is, but the execution or the petition delivery is going on as we speak. They're entering the courthouse, and Shavas is going to stay with them all the way through as best he can. Meanwhile, there was a mistake that was reported when people pulled up to the courthouse. Sister Helen and others had said in the investigator, and everybody had said that a stay had been granted, and everybody was very excited about that and elated about that and celebrating that. And then it turns out that that was a stay for James Harris, who was scheduled to be executed and that stay actually came down yesterday. So there was some confusion.
I'll be going down for a second, Abe.
Yep. So you're going to go through security. There's Sister Helen getting ready to go through the security. So anyway, we apologize for the mistake, but it sure felt real, and it was super exciting while it happened. So unfortunately, the execution is still on for next week, next Wednesday at 6 p.m. And the ask and the delivery, the petition delivery right now to the Collin County District Attorney is to get them to motivate. Hey, Shavas, if you got to shut it down for a second, feel free. And the So the ask is to ask the district attorney of Collin County
Thank you.
to get the conviction integrity unit to take another look at all the evidence that's been detailed in explicit detail and by the Cousins by Blood podcast and investigation.
Got to go dark for a second. Yeah.
Go ahead, and Gina Duff and Gina Duff is Ivan's attorney, a former prosecutor, and they are. Let me just turn that off so we look at the sound. So they asking for waiting.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure it comes up. I just need to see the screen come up. I don't care what's on there. I just need to see the screen. Go ahead and put it on There you go. You go ahead. I'm American citizen too.
Action.
How fast it moves, something like that.
Go ahead, take it.
I've already said.
Evidence. There you can see Sister Helen. I'm going to pull my camera back off. Here we go. And looks like they're heading in or out. What's going on there? I guess they've already delivered the petitions just to the front desk. That was nice and fast. That's Sylvia Cantu, Ivan's mother in the all black. Shavas, can we pick up your sound? Shavas, we're not picking up sound. Shavas, we're not picking up the sound if you can hear me.
Oh, okay.
Nick, I need that signed self-delivered video.
Yeah.
Better get me that.
That must have been a signal issue. Shavas, you want to ask Sylvia if she'd like
Can
to
you hear me? Can you hear me?
audience?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, can you hear me? Shavas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There were headphones.
Okay, so Shavas has turned off his camera for a moment. We're going to see what happens there. There we are. Shavas, can you hear me?
Courageous. Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thanks for the work that you do.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
We need to talk about your
Yeah.
Pablo Velez Jr.
I've seen the name. Gee, I mean, Harris County is corrupt, all capital letters.
His fiance, girlfriend, is
Hey, Shavas, ask the MoveOn.org lady if she wants to say anything.
Yeah, we're helping all out. See if I can recalibrate this.
I can hear you. It's hard to hear other people though. But if you want to ask the MoveOn.org lady if she'd like to say anything, welcome that. All right, well, there we are. Hey, Shabazz, can you hear me? There you go.
Are we back?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so it's hard to pick up other people without the microphone.
Yeah.
The audio. But if you could find, if Sylvia wants to say something, or the MoveOn.org person, or Sister Helen herself, or Julie also, before we cut out, then that would be great. You can tell Helen that she's on with all the people that are watching. There's hundreds of people watching on the Death Penalty Action channels right now. She wants to greet them and call them to action.
Sorry, not trying to intrude. I mean, thank you for everything. Yep. Yeah.
When it comes time to do so, I think we're going to step up and
There you got on your left. There is see if you can swing around right. Well, there we go.
You all right? Thank you for everything. Yeah, for sure. Are y'all gonna do lunch after this or something? Yeah, probably. I guess baby back home.
Okay, well, it looks like it's picture time for
Looks like he
everybody.
was asleep.
There's people lining up to have a photo with Sister Helen. And
I've got Amy's number. I'll text it to her.
Michael has it. She can send it.
I know, I'll text it to her. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, thank you, Amy.
Thank y'all for everything. Such courageous words.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. And tell me you're here with who again? Or
You can say I'm here with everybody,
Okay,
but chiefly Death Penalty Action.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Abraham
Yep,
Bonowitz and Charles Keith.
I follow that.
Yeah. I feel like I'd met you before in the past. I'm trying to remember where though. It wasn't Jedediah's execution
No, I haven't been.
down there. I was up here for something with Halpern back in the past, and I think that's where it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Would love to stay connected with you. I mean, such courageous words.
Thank you.
And my car's on my phone, but
I have a card.
okay. Yeah. Well, I don't want you to do too much.
It's right over there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have fun all today. Yeah.
So where's Liz?
I'll have you.
Okay.
Shabazz, see if he can swing around to be facing Sylvia. Maybe you'll pick up the sound better from her.
I did hear.
That's Ivan's mother, Sylvia, speaking with the jury foreman, who has now come out in support of a stay and a reevaluation of the evidence.
You're welcome.
Thank you both.
And you let me know. If anything, I can never help with. All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Safe travels and God bless. Shevis Watson. I'll send you an email tonight when I get back on my computer and follow up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless and thank you for everything. Man. Are we exhausted or exhausted?
We're hungry. Getting angry.
Yeah, hangry.
How did it go in there?
It was quick. They weren't hostile. They looked Miss Sylvia and Michael and the rest in the eyes and received the
Good.
the petitions. It wasn't like they were looking elsewhere or just kind of brushing them off. They seemed to have a somber mood to them, like almost, damn, this is painful to have to receive this. So
Hey, Shavas,
there was like 7 of us in there. So
you want to turn the camera around and we'll have a conversation?
they looked at us all and said, hey, we just got to keep it cool, you know?
Yeah. We didn't even know y'all were coming in.
Yeah, I got the whisper.
Hey, Shavas, turn the camera around. Let's talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, but I might have to jump in and jump out because the volume is really low.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Just flip
It's
your
just
camera
low for me.
around.
Hold on one second.
All right. So they're wrapping things up down there in McKinney, Texas, at the county courthouse, Collin County Courthouse, where we've just heard the press conference and a petition delivery, a bit of a rally to deliver over 100,000 petitions gathered by MoveOn.org and Death Penalty Action. And they were delivered this morning to the Collin County DA's office. So Shavas Watson is our man on the spot. Thanks for being there. You want to give us some closing thoughts here before we turn it down?
It's just really hard to hear, I won't lie.
Just asking you for your final thoughts before we shut it down, brother.
My final thoughts. I'll say this foremost. To all of our listeners.
Pull the camera back a little
to all of our supporters, to all of our allies and co-conspirators, I charge you with an action today. I want you to find 3 individuals that you can share Ivan Cantu's petition with, his podcast with, or this video with. To all of our listeners, all of our supporters, all of our allies and co-conspirators, I charge you, by tomorrow, find 3 people that you can share this injustice with. We need more and more people to know that Ivan Cantu deserves not only an evidentiary hearing, but a new trial. My final thoughts. What a loving community here of people who have fought the fight for years, like our folks in Ohio, like our folks in Georgia, like our folks in Florida, like our folks in Oklahoma. What a loving community here. It is not all handshakes and smiles, but it is eagerness, camaraderie, and most importantly, community. You see folks here who are extremely exhausted. You see the weight of doubt on people's foreheads. But folks are talking about the new evidence. Folks are talking about the history of wrongful convictions. Folks are talking about, Ivan's support and his loved ones. Final thoughts, I'm wherever death penalty action wants me to be, wherever the abolitionist movement is. May Ivan Cantu get a stay of execution, a delayed date, an evidentiary hearing, a fair new trial. May Greg Willis uphold his oaths as a minister of justice and do the right thing. May those who operate here in Collin County recalibrate their understanding of the U.S. Constitution and do what's right. We wouldn't have over 100,000 signatures, petition signatures, if not for way too much doubt and way too many unanswered questions. I'm here in alliance with the Prison Show, as I am your in-mass incarceration reporter, in alliance with my good brother, Abraham Bonowitz, Executive Director of Death Penalty Action. I'm also here with the family and the friends of Ivan Cantu. I'm also here with a plethora of media. I'm also here with the Death Row Angels of Texas, Miss Danny Allen sitting to my right, Miss Joyce sitting to my right. We've got the Texas movement to abolish the death penalty. Gloria Rubach is to my right. We've also got Reverend Amy Moore, Parish Associate for Spirituality and Justice at North Park Presbyterian Church. We're here with a lot of faith leaders as well. And I couldn't be more proud to be here in the name of justice, in the name of fairness, in the name of truth. Again, I'm anywhere the death penalty action needs me. I'm your brother in the fight to abolish the death penalty. I wish I could snap my fingers and we go back to the 70s. Those are my final thoughts, Abe.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Shavas Watson. Grateful for your being present. I came out from a variety of organizations today to be present as Sister Helen Prejean led a delivery of petition signatures calling the Collin County reinvestigate this case of Ivan Cantu. There's 6 days left from 6 p.m. Central Time this evening before the execution. We all need to do everything that we can to help stop this execution. And I want to note also, before we cut out, also, and this is where I'll be flying out tomorrow to Idaho, where Idaho is we're going to be doing a petition delivery there. And who's scheduled to also be executed a week from yesterday on the 28th, and that's at time in Idaho since 2012. So we're inviting people to get involved in any. You go to the Ivan Cantu petition that we have, and there's links to a bunch of information in the case, to the ivancantu.org webpage. What we are able to do is reach back out to you and invite you to and we've been working hand in hand communication with Michael Frazier, with Sylvia Cantu. If you're seeing our emails, so in April, have the star powers. None of them were involved in this case. A number of faith organizations and with the ACLU of Idaho and asked us to come and help lead visible opposition to the execution that's scheduled there. We address every single execution. Go to deathpenaltyaction.org, click the donate tab, because it's only with your support. We don't get grants. We don't get $dollars or $50 or $18, or some people just give $1, whatever is possible for you. That's how we operate. Talk more about that if somebody wants to call. Each of us jumping in and helping in any way that we can. Other people to sign the petition movement. So next week, hopefully, quite possibly both. And that's the other thing before we shut it down. Then you'll get an invitation to join the virtual vigils that we do prior to each execution, starting an hour before the on every execution day. We go live on the spot. In the place where they're happening, and at the same time, they're online. But it's not all prayer and it's not all information. It's a nice mix. That's the feedback that we get. And all kinds of people that come together, but together, and that's why we're here. I want to share with you sure that somebody that Shavas could be on the spot, making sure that the petitions were printed. They are in a position to help us cover the actual expenses. $10, $1,000, $100,000 would liberate us, and that's what we're looking for. Is that game can make a difference, so that we can keep doing this work, whether or not the big famous people are involved. We'll be there for every single one. So